going, guys? Welcome back to another video. I apologize for the infrequency. It's like the same fucking excuse and shit like every week, so it's just disgusting to listen to. But I had to move. You can see I'm in a new place. I have my own apartment now. I'm almost an adult, so, you know, it is what it is. And then I also started university, and I'm on my first week now, so that's interesting. There you go. But anyway, let's just get straight into it. Month 11, week 43. So this is halfway through the Hangzhou Chengdu holiday, which I mentioned in last week's weekly recap that I could have put it into one, but then it would have been really long and So we're just doing it as a 2-week thing because it splits on the Thursday, which is when I always did the weekly recaps, because that's when 1 week had passed. Funny how that works, you know? So, yeah, we start off with the 22nd of July, June. Also, I'm looking at my screen here, so if I'm not looking at the camera, that's why. But yeah, we start off with the 22nd of June, where we rented a scooter from the hostel, and then we went to Hangzhou, because we're still in Hangzhou here, and had milk tea. It was like pretty shitty. I think it was gongcha. I don't know why, but all the milk teas in Hangzhou were gongcha, and they were like, there was a difference in quality too. Some of them were ghetto gongchas and they were shit, and then some of them were like so-so, but none of them were good. Also, gongcha in Hong Kong actually tastes better, so there you go. But yeah, I don't know. The milk tea was there. Then we went to Xingping to get the photo of the 20 kwai note. I don't have one on me right now, sorry. But basically on the 20 kwai note, there is a photo of the landscape with the river. I think it's called the Xingping River, to be honest, and then the mountains. And we went, and I got the photo where I held the note in the spot, and, you know, cool. So I got my photo, I was happy. Then we scooted around. This was actually one of, like, maybe the best memories from the vacation. I don't know, because we had this scooter, right? And my friend drove it, and I sat on the back, and I was filming. I think there's going to be a good vlog of this, eventually, when I get my shit together and start editing. But I think there will be a good vlog, because I have footage from the scooter, and it was just such a cool experience, I think. So yeah, we scooted around. It was super chill. Because I also said last week that the bike riding, I don't like riding bikes, but that's also super chill because you're just riding around in the mountains, and then with a scooter you can obviously go faster, and it's just really nice. And there's no traffic outside the city, so it's pretty dead. So you're chilling. You're just chilling really, really hard. So we scooted around for hours just chilling. Then we went to something called Chuping Hill. And that was it was in Pufeng village, I guess. I wrote that down. I don't know if anyone's interested in the actual facts. But there you go. There was this sunset view. And yeah, we went to this was way easier than the radio tower climb I talked about in last week's video. That was such a fucking pain and I wanted to die. This was like a 15-minute walk up a hill, but it had such a good view. It had a better view than the radio tower. So you just had a view of all these rice fields and the mountains, and it was really beautiful. And yeah, the weather was okay. It wasn't raining, but it was not... Oh, actually, I think it was raining for a little bit, but it was so-so. It was bearable. We didn't get a good sunset, but you have to take what you can get, I guess. I don't know. As long as we could actually be out, as long as we could be outside, we didn't get completely fucked, I'm gonna, be happy. Be happy with what you can get, I guess. But the weather could have been better. But yeah, the scootering and the chilling was so nice, dude. And yeah, I think the view at Chuping was one of the best views I've ever seen, maybe. I don't know, I've seen good views, but this was really nice. The rice fields, and there was I don't want to call it a river because it was very small, but there was a water thing going through it. What's it called? A canal? No. I don't know words. But anyway, there was water and it was beautiful. And then we had burgers at KFD, which I guess is Budget KFC, and Wallace. And they were both, this was both fast food places obviously. They were both decent chicken burgers. They weren't really much to talk about, to be honest with you. And then, I forgot to write this in the notes, but I still remember it. The hostel put petrol on the scooter in the morning, and we had a full tank. And then when we were going back from Chuping village, village, I remember the petrol tank was low, and my friend was like, we're gonna run out, because we were pretty far away. We were like, I don't want to say a number, because if it's wrong, then I'm under or over exaggerating. But it was at least like half an hour or an hour away, and we were running out of petrol. So we're like, fuck, we're gonna die, we're gonna get lost. And we had to be back with the scooter by 9 o'clock. I don't know why they had that rule, but yeah. So we're driving back, hoping that we don't die, like, because if we just land in the middle of nowhere without petrol, that would kind of suck. Then we made it back. I voted we went to town to get food. He wanted to go to the hostel, but I was like, no, I want food, because I don't want hostel food. Which we ended up having fast food, so it's like, but whatever. And then in the town, we bought petrol, and that was cheap. It was like 20 kwai for a full tank, so not an issue. And then we knew we had enough petrol to get home, which, you know, is cool. Went home and chilled, and then we watched Whiplash, but it was like my 10th time watching Whiplash. But yeah, that's a great movie. Check it out. It's good. And then, yeah, that's the day. And that was the 22nd of June. So then 23rd of June, woke up at 7, showered, and then we got ready to leave our hostel, because we were now traveling to Chengdu. So, wait, should I recap what we did in Chengdu? I can't even remember now. We had the scooter day that I just said. Then we had the day where we biked around and we ate dog. And then we had the first day, which I already forgot. That's embarrassing. What was our first day? That was like going there, and then, you know, we went to the TV tower, and we went to the city center and stuff. Okay, so that's the Hangzhou days, right? So then, 23rd of June, showered, left the hostel, got a taxi, bought Snickers and noodles cup noodles at the supermarket, and then we headed to the train station. We got there early this time, which was nice, because then you could chill. Train arrived, got on it. It was such a good train, dude. It was the best long train I've been on, because it had power outlets. So, like, my friend and I talked for a bit, and then he wanted to chill. Then I just put on my computer, plugged it in the power outlet, and then I had a 7-hour train trip to look at photos. It was like it's kind of like being given the gift of time, because you're like, you can work and you're not being like disturbed, and you don't have anything else to do, nothing to distract you. I also didn't have Wi-Fi, so it's like I could just do the photos, you know, it was cool. And it's not a plane, so you actually have leg room and stuff. So that was a really good train ride. I was just listening to music and looking at photos and stuff. It was really, really nice. That was like the whole trip, and it was like a 7-hour train ride, so it was really good. And then, also the landscape in the window was really beautiful. Like the transition wasn't like that crazy from the beautiful Yangzhou landscape to the Chengdu landscape, but it was nice. So that was like really nice landscape. I filmed some of it, I think, again. And then yeah, eventually we made it to Chengdu at 5 p.m. so we didn't really have the day there, which I thought we did, but we didn't. Then I don't know why, but we're stupid, so we didn't find our hostel for like an hour. We were walking around eating Pringles, trying to find the hostel. That's basically what happened. Got to our hostel, and then we were incredibly tired. It was like 7 p.m. before we got out of our room. We went down this street, and then, what's it called? We went for the milk tea, Dian, because in Chengdu, Yangzhou they only had gongcha. I don't understand why. Chengdu they had, they also had some royalty in Yangzhou, I think, but royalty is actual garbage. I wouldn't drink it for free, you know. And then in Chengdu they had Dian mostly, and then cocoa, which both of those are really good. So I was happy. And there was a Dian across the street. And then we had these burgers for dinner, which resembled the ones in Xi'an, the like Chinese style burger. So it's like a pizza bread with like meat, and then it was like really spicy. Because all the food in, I guess, Sichuan province, but also especially Chengdu, is like really spicy. So, and then I don't know why, but I thought I should finish mine. So I ate like 2, I think it was, and they were way too big, and then I was super full and sick. So good time. But no, they were really nice though, and milk tea is also nice. And then yeah, we chilled in the hostel and watched Die Hard, and that was our travel day. It was a good day. We had good train, and then we had like milk tea, you know? That's all you need. But it's kind of crazy that before we got out of the hostel it was 7 p.m. and we woke up at 7 a.m. So it's like a 12-hour travel day-ish. That's the sort of thing you don't really calculate when you're traveling. Also, like, this was a train, so it's easy. But usually going to the airport, you have to be, like, that's so annoying. But anyway, we did it. It was a solid day. And that was the 23rd of June. Alright, 24th of June. We woke up at 9 and decided we would use the day to explore the city. We couldn't find milk tea. I don't know why. Didn't I just say that there was milk tea across the road? I don't know what happened with that actually. But no, it was closed. It was closed, I remember. And then we couldn't find milk tea. I had spring rolls and my door is trying to kill itself. We had spring rolls and then some ghetto like noodles in like some family like mom and pop shop and like restaurant. It was good. It was really good noodles. I didn't actually want any. My friend bought. I saw them and then I was like, okay, I guess I'm eating noodles as well now. Like, alright, you know? And then we went to the Tibetan street, I think, where there was like a lot of good food, like spicy food and stuff, and a lot of people and just like a good vibe. So it was nice. Then we saw some museum that my friend really wanted to see. He like cares about Chinese history, and that was like one of his main motivations for going to Chengdu. Mine was just like, I wanted Yangshuo most. I was like, we're going to Yangshuo, and he was like, alright, we're going to Chengdu, and I was like, okay. Also, Chengdu is famous for the pandas, so I was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, but his main motivation was actually that museum, I think. It was like the Three Kings of China at the time. And then that was like mainly what it was about. So we saw the museum and it was okay. And then we scared some kid. There was some kid that called us foreigners. He was like, oh, Lawai. And then my friend turns to him and he's just like, oh, Chonggoren. And then he got really scared. It was funny. And then, yeah, afterwards we headed to, I think that was, it happened like 3 or 4 times. So I'm not actually sure which one of the times this was. But I think scaring this kid was maybe the one. There was one guy that maybe he wasn't even calling us foreigners. I think he was calling some black guy like black or a foreigner or something, and then my friend was like, oh, Chinese, and then he got really scared and hid behind his parents, and then his parents sort of took him and forced him out and forced him to get a photo with us. So poor kid. But anyway, afterwards we headed to another temple which was like so-so, had a Snickers and chilled, and then we went back to the Tibetan street because we didn't know what to do. Fuck my shit, dude. We didn't know what to do. And we walked the streets, and then we just decided that we would eat, we were going to do Sichuan hot pot, but we couldn't be bothered finding a restaurant and stuff, so we just sort of decided, we'll eat street food today, you know? Because it's like, you eat a bunch of different cheap street food, and then eventually you're full. So we did that. It was really spicy. Again, there will be a vlog of this, so you'll actually get to see the food. Fuck, let me move my chair, okay? This is a tilter. But yeah, you'll see all the street food in the vlog, and yeah, it was really spicy because all of the food there is, but from what I remember, I had a really weird dessert. It looked like dessert, but then they started putting chili and all this other stuff on it, and I was like, eh. And then we had some meat that was pretty good, and then we had fries on a stick, and we had jiaozi as well. We had like the dumplings, and they were also too spicy. And then I don't know if we had other street food. We had a lot. We met a Tibetan guy also. We met a guy from Tibet who was like, hello, and then we were like, oh, let's be friends. And then he was like, let's go to dinner, and we're like, we just ate a bunch. And then he's like, okay, let's eat street food then. And then he bought us a bunch of street food. He bought us the dumplings and the potato thing, and maybe something else also. But yeah, anyway, he was super nice. And then yeah, we talked to him a bunch, and then we headed home. And we watched another movie, because that's what you do. We watched The Big Short, which, that movie is pretty good. And then, we just chilled and we were like so dead. Also, walking home, from our metro to walk home, you had to walk for like, I can't remember if we did this because we're stupid or we wanted to. But we walked home for an hour. No, not stupid, sorry. I can't remember if we had to, because the hostel was far away from the metro station. Or if it's because we're stupid. I think maybe it's both. But either way, we walked home for an hour and we had a great conversation. And then, yeah, we came home and we were like dead. And we'd walked like 40,000 steps, which is decent. And then we were tired. So that was the 24th of June. Alright, so 25th of June. I woke up and today was the day, this was a hype day. We're going to go to the Chengdu Panda Reserve, which is like what Chengdu is famous for. They're famous for the pandas. They have a panda reserve where they like breed pandas, which is a really difficult task because pandas are fucking stupid. All they do is eat 16 hours a day. And yeah, they're not, so that's a hard task. But we went there. It was pretty easy to get there. The weather was shitty again, which is like, fucking hell, why is it always shit, Also, I closed the door and now it sounds echoey in here, so I don't know about that one. But yeah, first we saw some giant pandas, then we saw some semi-big ones. I don't think they were babies, but they were pretty big. And a lot of them were just chilling in trees, being useless. But yeah, they seemed happy and they had their backs turned and didn't want to look at us half the time. But yeah. They were just useless, basically useless animals that humans like for whatever reason. But it was nice to see them. We saw one panda that was like eating bamboo and it was like taking the shitty parts off and it was like smart. And then we saw there were some that were walking for a bit and yeah, we saw a good amount. Then we saw the panda museum where you could read a bunch of information about them, which usually I don't give a shit. But this was actually pretty interesting. Like, I learned that they eat 16 hours a day, which is cool. I wish I could do that. And also, apparently, pandas in captivity have like 50% like twins, and then the mum kills one of the twins because she's like, I can't support you both, so I'll kill the weakest one. Oh, I don't think she kills it. I think she just lets it die, but same thing. And yeah, we saw that was the best part of the day. We saw baby pandas, which I think is like really, I don't know how rare it is. They probably have baby pandas, ever so often, but it's quite rare, I would say. And obviously that's not something you can see at normal zoos. And when I say baby pandas, I don't mean like, I saw a picture in the museum that was like, these pizzas, yeah. These pandas are 1 week old, 1 month old, 3 month old, like, they get old, no they don't. They grow really fast. And the ones we saw were like, they had to be like less than 2 weeks, I think. They were really young. One of them didn't have any black or white. It was like this red thing, and it had like some fur on it. One of them was like a little bit black and white. Like they were newborn pandas. So that was my favorite experience, and that's probably something that I won't be able to redo. Like, I feel really fortunate and lucky that I got to see that. I also told a friend who went to Chengdu and she's like, oh, you're so lucky. And then another friend went to Chengdu like 2 months later. And I think she saw the baby pandas, but they were older, I think. They were like bigger now and they were inside. So they grow really fast. So that was like really fortunate experience to be able to see. They were like less than a month old, maybe 2 weeks, I think, based on the pictures I saw in the museum, And yeah, I don't think that's an experience many people get, so that was cool. Then it started raining like crazy, like really bad. It was like from 1 minute to the other, it was like boom. And then our day was basically ruined because I think maybe they took all the pandas inside. We basically stood in like a spot where you didn't get wet. Then we stood there for a long time, and then I think the rain, I can't remember if it cleared or we just gave up. But either way, at that point there were no more pandas, so I think they took them inside. I don't know what happened, but we were like, alright, we're done. We've seen the pandas at least. We had a good run. So then we just headed home. And then, this was a good experience that I didn't know I was getting, dude. So we, there was this huge building. It's the biggest building in the world by square meters, and it's in Chengdu as well. It's called, I don't remember the name, something center. It's like a huge shopping mall. It's 17 million square kilometers, I guess, or square meters. Let me Google that for you. Chengdu big building. Do you think that works? Yes, it does. It's called New Century Global Center, and it's 1.7, it's not 17, 1.7 million square meters, 18 million square feet. Alright, that's where I got okay, there you go. But yeah, we saw that building, which I didn't have any expectations. We saw it from the outside, we're like, it's pretty big. Then we got inside. I even wrote in my notes 1.7 million square feet. No, it's not. It's 18 million square feet, 1.7 square meters. Fuck, okay, I'm mixing up my information. But anyway, inside was huge. There were all these brands that like you'd never heard of, but you knew they were like expensive, that kind of thing. So many stores. There was a cinema. There was a like big swimming pool with like all these slides and like a wave pool and like all of that, and then just so many stores. It was so big, and then we made it our goal to see all of it, and it was like 4 or 5 floors. So yeah, we walked quite a bit. And I don't know, I was really impressed just by the scale of it and everything. I feel like most people wouldn't be impressed, but I was very impressed. I was like, holy shit, this is cool. And again, there will be video of this eventually. I need to get my shit together and start editing. The thing is, making one video like takes so much longer than you think. Like these I could spit out easily, but the other ones take so much editing. And now my time is divided up and I'm really busy, so it's difficult, but yeah. Anyway. The world's largest building was really cool. We thought it was like a rectangle, but we came out on one side and it was actually just a square. It just, this huge square. And what else is there? Just, yeah, the pool. You could see like a big view from one of the higher floors. You could kind of see down and stuff. It was good. Then we had Japanese food inside the mall. It was ramen and it was pretty good. And then we headed home and got home at like 10 p.m. and watched another movie. And yeah, that was our day. So Panda Reserve and the world's largest building. So I think both of those are pretty cool. Alright, that brings us to the 26th of June. Woke up at 8, out at 9, had donuts for breakfast, that was good. Then we headed to the bus because now we're going to see the largest Buddha in the world. I want to stop here and say, like, in my opinion, Yangshuo was such a cool city. The vibes in the city, like, the one day where we didn't have the petrol and stuff, we didn't really go in the city. But the other times, like we only had food. But the other times, like in the city, the vibe is so good and everyone is so nice. And outside the city, there's just all the huge mountains and the landscape and it's really beautiful. I really, really love, also the river rafting, being on that river. Like, I really, really love Yangshuo. But Chengdu, I don't think the city was that good. The people were nice. It's actually, like, I love Chinese people, they're so nice, but I actually think in Shenzhen, they're not as nice, which is weird, but I live there, and I mean, everyone is super nice, but still, when you come out to other cities, people are even nicer, it seems. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just biased or stupid, I don't know, but yeah. But I didn't like Chengdu that much as a city. I thought it was very ugly in terms of architecture, like all the buildings, it looked kind of gross, like not clean. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't, I don't want to be like, oh, Chengdu's a dirty city, but it didn't seem like clean and nice. And I guess it's because Shenzhen is so modern, right? Like Chengdu maybe reminds me more of like Xi'an, which I also don't think is like that hyper city. Like there are nice areas. And Chengdu also had the Tibetan street and stuff, which was nice. And we were also at the city center, I think, at one point, where there's a Mao statue, and it looks okay. But just my general impression of like Chengdu is that you don't go there for the city, you go there for the things in the city. I'm sorry the light is changing, by the way. You don't go there for the city, you go there for like the things that are in the city. So the Panda Reserve, the building, I don't think that's a tourist highlight, it was for me, but... And then this giant Buddha is not actually in Chengdu, it's like far away from Chengdu. But Chengdu is probably like the closest major city. So people that want to see the largest Buddha in the world would probably go to Chengdu because it's the closest place, right? So that's why I think you go to Chengdu. But yeah, anyway, that was just like a side note. I want to talk about like how I feel about Chengdu. I think it's okay, but the things you do there are cool anyway. So we took forever to get, we had to take a bus to go to the largest Buddha, which took forever to get there. It was like 1 hour walk, because like I said with our hostel, I think it was weird. And then 2.5 hours by bus. That was like a long bus we had to buy with our passports. It was like taking a train. It was like a serious bus. Normal buses cost like 2 kwai, and then like, you know, this was like a real bus that cost money. So 2.5 hours by bus to the city, and then from there we had to take another hour by bus when you were in that city. So I guess you could stay there, but it was like a small city, you wouldn't, right? You'd stay in Chengdu. So then it was another hour by bus. And then the weather again was kind of shitty, which the whole weather for the vacation was it was at a level where you can't really complain because it can be worse, but it was definitely not good and you were definitely not happy with it. It was like grey skies and signs of rain. And yeah, compared to it being a Tuesday afternoon, like rainy and stuff, it was quite crowded, I think. There were a lot of people, but apparently my friend went there afterwards and it was a lot more crowded when she was there in the summer holidays, so maybe I should just be happy. But yeah, we walked around the temples. There were some temples around the Buddha. They looked quite nice. And then we made our way down the Buddha, because the Buddha's head is like at the top, and you're here, kind of, and you can kind of look at it and be like, eh. But then you walk here, and then you go down a ladder. No, not a ladder. Oh, like stone staircase. You go down, 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 and then you're at like the foot of the Buddha, at the bottom. You can stand and look up. And yeah, when I saw the Buddha at first at the top, I was kind of like, it's not that impressive. Whatever. It's cool, but But once you came down those like steps, which took forever and it was super crowded, it was so cool. It gave such perspective. Like the foot is just so huge, like the foot of the Buddha. You can see the face, and I think it's like 50 or 70 meters tall. It's really cool. And it's all carved into the mountain, like it's a stone thing. So that was super impressive, and there were some details on like the foot and the hands and the face and stuff. It was really, really impressive. I thought it was kind of like and then I got like progressively more and more impressed. Like it was good. And then it started raining, which sucked. And then people wanted pictures with my friend and practice English, so that was funny. But yeah, it started raining, and then it was also like, it was 4 p.m. and it was raining kind of heavily, and we'd already seen a bit of the temples. I think there was more to see, but at 4 p.m. it takes us 1 hour to go back to the city, then 2.5 hours by bus, and then we'd get home so late, so we had to go home at 4 p.m. And then I didn't remember that like when you drink you have to go to the bathroom, so I just drank a Pepsi instantly in the bus, and I was like, oh fuck. And then I swear to God, I've never wanted to die so much. Like, I had to go to the bathroom for like 2 hours. Oh, it was only half an hour into the trip, and yeah, I thought I was gonna die. So that was a good time. I enjoyed it very much, you know. Then we walked. This was another highlight of the trip. This trip like has so many highlights, dude. Eating dog, the river rafting, the scooter, the beautiful landscape like views, the pandas, the giant Buddha, the mall, eating hot pot. Like there's just so many, I'm forgetting highlights too. There were so many highlights to this trip. So we walked to the hot pot place, and then we made the genius idea. This is like the smartest thing that me and him have ever done. We made the genius idea to buy milk tea, Indian, and bring it with us for dinner for the hot pot. Which, that was, one, really smart because milk tea, and two, it's good when you're having hot pot. And then yeah, some ladies helped us with everything. We got 2 meats, vegetables, and then if you don't know what hot pot is, it's basically a pot, and then they just fill it with chilies, and you're like, fuck, I'm gonna die. And then there was an outer, we had the pussy version. We had an outer ring, which was just chili and a bad time, and then we had an inner ring that was like just water, I guess. And yeah, so then we put the meat in the outer ring because we thought, well, we're cool, we can eat it. And then it was so fucking spicy, dude. I've never had food so spicy. Like, Sichuan province and Chengdu, I don't know if Chengdu or just Sichuan province, but like, this is the most spicy food in China. And spicy food in China is spicy. So this being the spiciest means that, it's spicy, alright? I've never had anything like it. Like my stomach, my mouth was burning, lips burning, everything hurt. And then my stomach started rumbling. It was like I had a volcano inside of me. It was like, doo, 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 doo. I was like, oh. And then I felt full. Actually, I couldn't tell if I was feeling full or I was like just dying, but it felt really weird. And then yeah, just tears and dying in general. So me and my friend are just there dying. And then this Chinese family across from us are just like laughing at us. They're looking at us and laughing, and we're just like, fuck, They were just, all the Chinese, this was at 10 p.m. I think too. It was really late, which is cool that there's so many people eating dinner at like 10 p.m. But yeah, all these Chinese people are just eating it really casually, and the guy sitting away from us is like laughing, and then he waved at us, and then he came over with his wife, who seemed embarrassed, by the way, and then he wanted to take a photo with us. He's like, "Can I have a photo with you?" We're like, "Sure." And then he offered us a smoke, so he was very nice. And then yeah, we kept eating and kept dying. And then there was lotus root. That was one of the vegetables. I really like lotus root. And then yeah, when we were finished, we're like about to finish, the guy comes back with his kid, and then his kid needs to get a photo as well. And I don't think the kid wanted one. It was like the dad, like, "I have a photo with them, you also need one. Go get a photo with the foreigners." And then, yeah, the name of the hot pot place was, let me see if I can pronounce this, Shujiushang Hot Pot Restaurant. Shujiushang. I think that's actually a good pronunciation. I think I didn't fuck that up too bad. And apparently they're top 10 in China. I think it said somewhere, but maybe they're lying, you know? And then, yeah, we walked home. Oh, it was 10 p.m. when we started walking home. So, yeah, the restaurant was reasonably full at 10 p.m., which I just think is really cool, that you can have a restaurant at 10 p.m. with people chilling in it on a Tuesday. Like, in Denmark, that shit would never happen. So I think the atmosphere, it's so nice, dude. And then, yeah, got home, chilled, transfer photos, and watched a bit of The Hangover 3. And yeah, that was our day, basically. Alright, 27th of June. So this was the day we were leaving Chengdu. We woke up at 8:30 and got ready to leave. Then we went to this area close to the hostel, sorry. It had these Tibetan shops because my friend wanted to buy a gift for his mum. We went to one of them, and then the lady didn't speak English or Mandarin. She only spoke Tibetan, I guess. I don't know if that's their language. I'm sorry. Then her husband came out, and he was so chill. He was just putting on pajamas at 10 a.m. He's like, he was still putting on his pajamas and coming out of the store, and we're just like, okay, he's chilling. Then we talked for a bit, and he offered us a smoke, and then that's like a common thing in China, I think, if you're friends with someone. And then my friend bought some stuff, and then the guy didn't accept full price. It was something about, like, he wasn't focused on money. I didn't understand it. My friend told me because he could speak with him, right? It was something about, like, Buddhism, and it was more important to give, like, to each other and help the religion or something, because he knew it was a present for his mom. So he didn't want to take, like, full price. So that was interesting. And then he asked us if we wanted to sit down and drink, which, I mean, we had nothing better to do until we had to be at the airport, right? So we're like, okay, sure. So then he made some sort of milk tea drink. I don't know what it was. It was, like, weird. But it tasted decent. But yeah. And then he talked a lot with my friend because his Chinese is actually good and mine is shit. I could understand a little bit and my friend could translate. But yeah, he was super nice and it was a good experience. Like, also, how often do you get to, like, talk to a guy from Tibet? Because I think, like, China and Tibet have, you know, a bit of drama. So it was interesting. And then, yeah, we took the metro to the airport. We were flying at 3 and we arrived at, like, 12:30, so that's decent. And then had a McChicken and chilled, edited a photo. And then, as always, airport security in China is just so good, dude. I like it so much. Like, it's just always such a smooth and, like, nice experience. I love the airport security in China. And then I tried sleeping on the plane, but I couldn't. I don't know what I did. And then the stewardesses were super angry about me using headphones. I don't know, all Chinese flights, they ask you to turn off your phone. It's like, fuck no. Like, they have airplane mode, and even without airplane mode, nothing happens, you know? But yeah, they're usually super aggressive about that. And then I was using headphones, and I thought that I wasn't allowed, like, during liftoff. But then when we were on the plane, I was like, okay, now I can. And then they were still being, like, angry about it. I don't know, they were annoying about that. I didn't get it. And then we landed in some random fucking city and waited for an hour there when new passengers and fuel came. It was such a waste of time. And then we had, fuck, I like it that I start off by saying, oh yeah, I love the airport security, and then boom, bad experience. I've had like 4 flights in China though, this was the only bad one. Then we had a shitty excuse for food. It was more like a snack, even though this was around dinner time. It was like pita bread with chicken, but it was like really bad. It was like this little thing, it was like so garbage, dude. Because airplane food is usually good. And when I traveled to Hangzhou to Xi'an, we got like a dinner plate before we even headed into the flight. They gave us it in the airport. They were like, here's a dinner plate for your flight when you're in the gate. So I was so disappointed here. Arrived home at 7:30 and was super done with life. That was like such a shitty day of traveling and then Shenzhen airport is super nice, by the way. The architecture there is really nice. It's all white and then it has holes and it's just really, really nice. But I've never flown out of Shenzhen. I've always flown in, and flying in is not as nice. Like, it's nicer when you come from the out, when you're going into it than when you're going out of it. I don't know if that makes sense. Because I think when you're going out of it, you don't see as much. You see the terminals, and then you take the metro. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm saying. But you know the waiting area you wait in? When you're waiting for your flight? I've never been there. And that's a nice part of the airport. But yeah. Also, the airport, I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's so big. Going from where you have, like, get off the plane to where you get your baggage is like a 20-minute walk. It's with, like, the speed boosts. So it's crazy. But yeah. Took the metro home and was home at like 9, got bubble tea, and then I headed inside. And my kid was showering. I talked to my host mom and she was happy. And then the dad seemed like sort of neutral, but yeah. And yeah, Ricky was talkative and seemed happy to see me. He mentioned crying when I was in Hangzhou because he missed me. And then he basically refused to go to bed. And after reading, he was refusing to sleep. And I was in his room till 10:30 when his mum came. He finally fell asleep and then his mum came and I was like, okay. So that was good. And then I talked to my friend who said that she wasn't supposed to be free the next day, but then she was, so that was good. I think maybe this is the Thursday. Does that work? Yeah, this is the Thursday. Alright, so this is the Thursday, the 28th of June. And yeah, the last day of the week. So my friend didn't think she was free, but then she was. And I think this was this might have been my last free day, or her last free day. It was an important day at least. So we started, it was her last free day, I think. And then we started the day at 9 a.m. We went to Gongcha, which is the one I just talked about in Yangshuo. But it was next to a royalty, and I don't know what happened, but the lady came from the royalty over to the Gongcha. We're like, what the fuck? Don't start making our milk. You don't know what you're doing. You're from royalty. But then apparently they were owned by the same company, and they were like a dumb hybrid called Royal Cha, which you don't want that shit. You know, that's garbage. So that was dumb. And then today was our milk tea drink challenge day again. We were trying to go for 5 in a day because I told you we went for 4 in a day and we got sick. So now we had to up the antics and try to do 5. But we weren't doing clean milk tea, so it was actually not as bad. So first we headed to a roof that wasn't that tall, but we've gotten to the point now where we need to use roofs just to find other roofs. So we were in Hangzhou Bay, which is the tech area, and we wanted to get a photo with the SEG Plaza, which is like an iconic building in Shenzhen, and pretty tall and kind of famous. And we couldn't figure out where we were so confused, so we're like, alright, we'll just take the closest rooftop, go to it, and see like where the KK100 is, because then from there, we know which direction we have to go. And again, the KK100 is like one of the tallest buildings in Shenzhen or China in general. It's pretty tall. So we went onto this roof, and then as soon as we get there, a guy sees us. This was only like an 8-story roof, by the way. And then he's like, what are you guys doing? We're like, we're having a look. And we weren't lying, because that's exactly what we were doing. And then he's like, oh, and then he proudly showed us his garden and like his fish, and we're kind of like, okay, sure. And then we figured out which direction we had to go for like 2 different shots that we'd seen on Instagram. And then yeah, it was easy to get up onto this, like into this building and onto the roof. And then we climbed some like sketchy ladder-ish, and it was really dirty and there was construction going on. And then we got to the spot, started taking photos. It was pretty easy, pretty safe. And we got a feet pic together, so that was cool. And then these workers started showing up under us, and we're just like, fuck. And then we didn't know if we'd get caught or not, or they would be angry if they saw us, because it's usually 50-50 with workers, if they get angry or not. So we just played it safe and left without getting spotted, which worked out fine. Then we bought some water, and I bought the good green one we always drink. And then my friend bought a different one, and I was like, You messed up. And then we tried both, and yeah, I was right. The green one is the better one. So there you go. Then we went to another roof, straight across from the one we had just done, which had another view of the SEG Plaza and the KK100 and the Shung building in the distance. But obviously it's different roof, different edge. And again, it was easy to get up. We made our way onto the roof, and then the whole thing, the roof didn't stop at the roof. There was like more building. It didn't stop on the rooftop, and the building was all glass. So it was like, we were kind of sketched out if people were working there and if they could see us. But we sort of, after walking around for like 10 minutes, because we're just walking on the roof, that's, you know, that's okay, right? After doing that for like 10 minutes and not being stopped, we were like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. It doesn't matter if we get caught. So then we got on the edge, took the photos we needed to take, and there were no problems, no one came to stop us, and that was good. And then, I think this was the one where we took the elevator down, and as we're taking the elevator down, we're just talking about our success, like, oh yeah, we got the roof, that was awesome, like, good shit, good shit. And then some lady, you could just tell she understood English. She didn't say anything, but the way she looked at us was like she understands everything. But I mean, we'd already gotten the roof, so we didn't give a shit. And then we had lunch, which was a mango Yakult drink, which was pretty good. It was from Coco. It was good. And then we headed to our next roof. So it's just rooftops all day. We're just grinding, right? And then our next rooftop was the one I called the wedding roof, which I already talked about in a previous video. It's the one where when we got caught, the people that caught us were wedding photographers, and then they got excited and they showed us their business, and then they edited some photos for us and were really nice. It was the one we did during the typhoon, right? So this time it was better weather, and we wanted to do the opposite side of the roof, because the one side had the Golden Building in Grand Theatre, that's not really famous, and the other side had the KK100 and the Shung Building. So we got up easily through the ghetto fire exit on the side of the building that we'd already used once. I think it was like open because workers use it. So we got up, climbed onto the pillars, onto the edge, and then as soon as we were on the edge, some guy comes and he's just screaming like, no, 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 no. He was like getting his laundry and he's like, no, 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 no. And we're like, we asked him like nicely, we're like, oh, we're taking pictures, you know. And then he was like, oh, where are you guys from? We're like, oh, Denmark, oh, Germany. And then he made fun of my friend because Germany lost to South Korea in the World Cup. So that was funny. And then, yeah, on the roof there was like the old mud from when we went there last time when it was wet during the typhoon. You could see like where we'd walked and stuff, so that was funny. And then we did the angle we did last time, but on the opposite side, so KK100 and stuff. Got a feet pic, and then we left quickly after. Then, this is like a long day, a lot happened. This was like the best free day I could have ever asked for. We had so much success, we got every roof, everything was just perfect, and I was so fucking happy, right? But yeah, we got our third milk tea, which was it wasn't a milk tea, it was a black tea with vanilla ice cream from Coco, and it was so fucking good. I should have had more of those, to be honest with you. So that was our third one. Then we went to our fourth roof of the day, which was a Dongmen roof that I'd already done with my Hong Kong friend, but when I did it, I didn't get onto the pillar because I couldn't like climb up, and I hadn't done it with my friend, so you know, I was like too weak or too stupid to climb up, I'm not sure. But yeah, found it pretty easily, and when we got there was a guy like smoking, and then we sort of just walked around like suspiciously waiting for him to leave, and then as soon as he left, I attempted to climb. It's basically, you're on the roof, and then there's like a spire that you can climb onto and do like a cool thing. But to get onto the spire, you have to climb up this really tall thing. And you basically have to pull yourself up with arm muscles, which I don't have, you know? But anyway, somehow I managed to do it, which was good, because I couldn't do it last time. And then I managed to pull my friend up as well. No, first she went to the roof, took photos of me, and I was on this ladder on a spire, like hanging off. And then she came and I helped her up, and then I took photos of her. No, first we climbed the ladder together and we tried taking a selfie, but it didn't really work with the angle, so it sucked. And then I went down and took photos of her. And then she didn't know how to get down afterwards, because getting up is always easier than getting down. So, yeah, and that was funny. So her being stuck is, you know, entertaining. And then it was so fucking dirty. My hands were like completely yellowish black. It was, you know, it was a good time. That's why you bring wet tissues if you're smart, you know? Alright, so then we went to another roof in Ho Chung Bay area, like an apartment complex. And we got onto the roof, and then we were on the roof, like on these pillars, like climbed higher up than the roof, right? And we're like sussing it out, trying to see the good angles, how we're going to take the photos, what we're going to do. And then a security guard came and told us to get down. So we're like, oh fuck. But the roof didn't have that much potential, so it wasn't that big a loss. And also, the security guard was super chill. He basically just told us to get down. And then we sort of just went to the elevator. But he didn't follow us, so maybe we could have just like stayed if he hadn't seen us. I don't know. I don't know where the cameras were, to be honest. But like, he didn't do anything. He was just like, get down. And then he didn't even like watch us leave. We just left because he told us to. Because, you know, we listen. I always listen when people tell me stuff. Yeah. So then it was like 4 p.m. and we had to rush to the sunset roof and not waste any time. So we didn't have time to buy milk tea, which sucked. We got McDonald's fries and like a burger. And then we got to the sunset roof, which I've also talked about in a previous video. And as we walk in, a guy starts walking towards us, like asking to, like, it looks like he's coming to ask us what we're doing, but we just rushed straight into the elevator, which would already been there before, so we knew. Rushed into the elevator and just closed it. And then we got onto the sunset roof and we climbed the crane and then we chilled for a bit and like ate McDonald's and just waited to see what would happen. And then no one came. So then we took photos of the like crane, sitting on the crane and stuff. And then a guy actually did come, but we just hid, so nothing happened. Then my friend had this amazing quote that I just feel like I should share with you guys. Oi, oi, don't fall. And then I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna fall. The fuck? And then she's like, no, like really, it's shit for you, but it's even more shit for me. And I was like fuck you, dude. But yeah, we went on the crane, got some photos. There was a crane on the roof, like a small one, not a big one. Then we changed sides because this is a roof like near the Ping An building, which is the 4th tallest building in the world, and it's the famous Shenzhen one. So we changed sides and then took photos with the Ping An building in the background. We got the feet pic with like our feet hanging off, which I was so disappointed I didn't get the first time because she didn't let me. She was like, oh, it's dangerous. So we got it this time and the light started being really good, like the sunset. So the lighting got really good because we were there a bit before sunset. Like the crane photos weren't during sunset, they were just golden hour, which was good. And then eventually 2 of our friends joined us. They came to the roof and they bought us our 4th drink. We asked them if they could bring us one, so they brought us like a watermelon drink with jelly, which was pretty good. And they also got stopped by the guy, but they just told him something stupid, so I don't know. And then while we were on the roof, people from the building across, which is a big restaurant that's also tall, could see us on the edge taking photos, and then they started like they were up against the window taking photos of us. It was like families and couples and stuff. And they all had their phones out taking photos of us and like waving at us. It was so funny. And then also while we were on the roof, a worker came. And at first we tried hiding from him. We're like, fuck, we don't want to get like trouble or told to leave because we're like getting photos, you know? So we tried hiding. Then the second time we were up on this platform thingy. And we just couldn't be bothered hiding. We're like, fuck it, we'll see what happens. And then when we got eye contact with him, I like waved to him and then he was happy and he waved back. So I don't know why there was some worker on the roof. He was looking out on the edge. So I don't know if he was like measuring, I don't know what he was doing, but he was on the roof at like 6 or 7 p.m. doing some sort of weird work, right? So, but he didn't care and it was good. So then we took more photos and my friends that joined us late were like so afraid because they hadn't really done it before. And I was just climbing around on the like edge thingy. And my friend also, because the light was really good and we had to take advantage of it. So I was like, you go take photos, I take photos. And we were just like changing places and stuff. Had to take advantage of the light, you know? So then we finished up and got down. And then there were people in the building. And the building was locked. And we couldn't open it. It was locked like from the inside, but we couldn't open it. And then they're like, you have to go this way. So I don't know what they were thinking. Like, why are these foreigners in the building at like 8 p.m.? But we're like, yeah, okay. So then we just sort of walked out the building. Then we headed to the Tencent roof, which I've also done during the day, but wanted to get it at night. And then we got our 5th and final drink, which was a cocoa drink. It was like a milk tea with pudding and stuff inside. Really, really good. And then we went to the Tencent roof. And we got to the door and it had a padlock on it, so that fucking sucked. So I think maybe it's locked at night when people, because I guess it's open because workers use it maybe, and then it's locked at night because maybe too many people have gone there at night. I've seen many photos at night, but this time it was locked, so that really sucked because that was like a roof that was like on my bucket list, like I need this roof, but yeah, I couldn't get it, so that's sad. I got it during the day at least, like in 2 different scenarios, but not having it at night really does suck because the building is beautifully lit up at night. So maybe we should have just gone to a different apartment complex or something. But it was like 9 p.m. and we were really tired because we'd literally been climbing roofs all day. But yeah, that kind of sucked. But overall, it was a good day. We had 6 successful roofs that we got good photos on, and then we failed 2. So yeah, parted ways and went home, and I got home at 11 p.m. and then I transferred photos and showered, and that was my second last free day. My last free day with my friend and climbing rooftops. So yeah, overall that was a huge success. And yeah, that is basically week 43. I don't have much more to say. Like, this free day was such a fucking good time. Again, the photos will be on Instagram. I'm doing it slowly. The holiday with my Dutch friend was such a good time. Like, I loved everything about Yangshuo. I already gave you a list, and everything about Chengdu. Like, it was just such a good holiday. And yeah, now I'm sitting here in Denmark and I miss it so fucking much, dude. It's so depressing. But yeah, that was week 43. It was such a good time. This was probably, like, the last month in China was honestly the best. And like these 2 weeks, like this that free day and then the holiday, like such a good time. But yeah, I could talk about that forever. Thank you for watching. It's probably been another long video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys for the last weekly recap, and then I'll hopefully start editing videos from China and not being useless. I am working hard on photos though, so go check that out. But yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.